Hello and welcome to the Logic Box with me, Jones. Hope you're well and safe. I think it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since we came live. Today we're gonna open the phone lines. You can call in and air your views. Okay, it'd be good to hear your take on what's happening around the world. Most importantly, in Ghana. And we're going to concentrate today mainly on Ghana because of the elections which took place on the 7th of December 2020, the aftermath. If you don't know, well, there's been the leader of the opposition, which is John Dramani Mahama, former president of Ghana, discredited the election results. And it's been reported that the NDC supporters, some NDC supporters, have taken to the street to protest against the results, claiming the results were rigged. The presidential results and also some of the parliamentary results as well. But I don't think there's too much about the parliamentary results, mainly about the presidential results. So when we do start talking about it, make sure you call in, okay? You can call in. Don't call in now, but soon you can call in, okay? Here's the number on your screen, for you to call in. I think it's only right that, we have interaction today simply because this Ghana is seen as the beacon of Africa. So democracy has been one aspect that we can actually, a lot of people sell when it comes to Ghana. If you read about Ghana, every article you read focuses on the importance of democracy, where transition of power has been very smooth, okay, in recent times. So that is one thing that has always gone for Ghana. But what do you think about the current state of affairs in Ghana? Are you in support of what people are doing, exercising their democratic rights by protesting? Or do you think, look, these guys need to just relax? Either way, it'd be good to hear your take. But before we get things rolling, I must say very soon we will have a journalist from Ghana to speak to us as well. So we'll be able to get all the stories, what's happening, the current update, whatever is happening in Ghana. Okay, but most importantly, I would like to talk to you, hear what you've got to say. And please, whilst you're here, make sure you share, go onto our Facebook page, YouTube page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share, comments, share, comments. Okay, aftermath of the 2020 elections. Hi, Georgette. Hope you're well and safe. So keep your comments coming in. All right, we'll be talking to you. The phone numbers very soon. I will open the phone lines up. But before we start, let's take a quick look as to what's happening across the continent of Africa. And we will start by looking at some stories that has been affecting Africans in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia have detained hundreds of migrants in squalid conditions in Riyadh. This is according to the Human Rights Watch. They've been quoted as saying some of the people who have been detained have claimed that they had been tortured or beaten. The migrants at the center, mostly from Ethiopia, but also from other African or Asian countries, were being held pending deportation, most having been arrested by Saudi authorities because they did not hold valid residency permits. The report released on Tuesday quoted detainees as saying they were held in extremely overcrowded rooms and that the guards tortured and beat them with rubber-coated metal rods, leading to at least 3 allegations of deaths in custody between October and November. Wow, so that is what is happening in Saudi Arabia. Now, let's head over to Malawi. Interesting news there in Malawi. Malawi has been named Country of the Year for reviving democracy in an authoritarian region by the Economist newspaper. The newspaper cites the nullification of the 2019 presidential election results that were marred by irregularities. The vote count was rigged with correction fluid on the tally sheet. Foreign observers cynically approved it anyway. Malawians launched mass protest against the Tipex election. Malawian judges turned down suitcases of bribes and annulled it, according to the Economist report. The country held a presidential election rerun in June, and President Peter Mutharika was beaten by President Lazarus Chakwera. The Economist says Freedom House's report that democracy and respect for human rights regressed in 80 countries between the start of the pandemic and September, but only improved in Malawi. So that's interesting. I mean, well done to Malawi. Most of the times when we hear stories from Malawi, it is not good stories that we tend to hear. Okay, now let's move on to Nigeria. A video has emerged, reportedly from the Nigerian militant group Boko Haram, showing dozens of young boys in the forest begging for the Nigerian armed forces to stop looking for them. Boko Haram released an audio message earlier this week saying they were behind the kidnapping of hundreds of schoolboys in northwestern Nigeria. A website linked to the group says the latest video is of the pupils taken from Kankara School last Friday. In a mix of English and Hausa, the main speaker said they were kidnapped by a Boko Haram leader, Abubakar Sheku's gang. He says some of the boys have been killed by fighter jets and calls for schools to be closed, excluding Quranic schools. He adds that all troops who have been sent to help them should be sent back. At one point, his voice appears to break and the other children begin to cry. The attack is the first of its kind in northwestern Nigeria. The authorities say it was carried out by local gangs connected to Boko Haram. Okay, now let's move on. Let's look at another story. So this is Netflix. So Netflix have appointed Zimbabwean billionaire Strive Masiyiwa to its board, adding its first African director as it looks to new markets for future growth. Masiyiwa is the founder and executive chairman of Econet Global, a telecommunications company that operates across Africa, Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Econet offers phone, broadband, and satellite service, and is also a major provider of mobile payment. So, great news, good news. Now, let's look at our last story. A bit of a funny one, actually, for Liverpool fans. Liverpool Football Club, that's not how you spell Mauritius, according to one supporter. Some eagle-eyed football fans spotted that an advertising sign for Mauritius displayed during last night's match between Liverpool and Tottenham misspelled the country's name. So there you have it. There you have it. All right. Don't forget, when we do open the phone lines, you can call and air your thoughts. It'd be good to get you involved. Yes, Georgette. Very soon I'll open the phone lines. You can call in, okay? And we'll hear your take. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago with regards to people going out there to protest against the results, the election results, the 2020 election results, which the former president, the leader of the opposition party, refuted and said he will not concede. Now, supporters of the NDC have taken onto the streets to protest. Okay, they've been out there protesting. Today I saw one particular video of people going out and about protesting against the results, where some people were even apprehended by the police. Nevertheless, most parts of the country, it is safe. You know, there's nothing happening. So it's just a group, some people in some parts of the country that going out there to protest. Now, I've said this, and if you didn't watch my video, you can scroll down on my page, you probably see it. And I think it's only right for me to reiterate this position. It's everybody's right to protest, okay? And I think we had a case study, 2012, where the now president of Ghana was the opposition leader, in which he lost the election in 2012, and himself, he wasn't happy about how things panned out during the election. So he took the case to court. Now, before the case was taken to court, because I know this video circulating about NPP supporters also going out to demonstrate. And, some of us spoke against it. And the slogan, "No justice, no peace," I think started from there. And some of us spoke against it, okay? And the president, Akufo-Addo, at the time, who was in opposition, actually did come out to speak to his followers and addressed them and said to them, look, the case is being taken to court for the Supreme Court to deal with this matter. So he pleaded with everyone to go home and stop the protest. It is a bit different, as this protest is a bit more, much more widespread than that of 2012. So what everybody have been saying, myself included, is that if you feel the elections were rigged and you want it to be looked at again or to be dealt with, then go to the courts. Now, why don't they want to go to court? Let's just read it. So some persons believed to be supporters of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, have clashed with police at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission of Ghana following the protest by the former. Sympathizers of the NDC have since declaration of the results for 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections been staging a series of demonstrations in protest of what they describe as a stolen verdict for President Akufo-Addo. The latest of such demonstrations saw hundreds of party supporters clad in red and black attires, wielding sticks and placards, heading to the Electoral Commission in Africa. Not in Africa, sorry, I beg your pardon, in Accra. So there's videos, and I'll put some of the videos out very, very soon so we can all see exactly what went down, what happened. And it's a bit disturbing. As you can see, the police trying to disperse the crowd with water cannons and tear gas. I mean, people have every right to protest. Now, I gave this analogy. I think I was speaking on one particular program the other day, and the subject came up. So I gave this analogy, and I must give Chris Whitty. I think Chris Whitty is the chief medical officer for England. And they asked him this question. This was to do with COVID, as London was being put back into tier 3. And one journalist asked him, saying that, look, you guys have already set out laws, that people should follow for the COVID. Now you're setting up new guidelines. So what is it? Should we follow the laws or should we follow the guidelines? What is it? Please explain to us. And what Chris Whitty said, which I found astonishing, and I thought it was such a salient point he made. He said, listen, it is legal, okay, to drive 70 miles per hour, right? It is legal, okay? But imagine if it has snowed and the road was icy, would you still drive 70 miles per hour? So my issue is this: you have every right to protest. You have every right, because it is your democratic right. If you feel that if you're not happy about how things are being run, yes, of course, I'm with you. Go out there and protest. Make your voices heard. But you must also take into consideration the time it is. You don't want to cause any political agitation. Provided your protest is peaceful, which I doubt anyway, because with politics, there's a lot of emotions involved. So one should at least take caution. And the Constitution of Ghana provides anyway mechanisms to resolve election disputes anyway, which is the Supreme Court. And I think this case will eventually end up there. But nevertheless, people wanted to exercise their rights. So that was my take on it. You can do it, but I think, you need to plan it well, and you have to take care, because it could get out of hand in some cases we've seen. Now, what do you think? Let me hear from you. What do you think? Has this in any way, shape, or form um, cast doubts in your, in your mind as to democracy in Ghana, or our democratic process in Ghana, or our election process in Ghana? What do you think? Some have argued, and myself included, saying that look, this is not the first, and it won't be the last. Most elections are always, there always happens to be some form of irregularities. Now, I'm not condoning it, but it happens. It happens, and I think we have to be honest with ourselves. If we think it doesn't happen, then we're not being honest with ourselves. Okay. All right. So you can call in. All right. I can see that somebody's calling in right now, and Moses is calling in. Moses, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. For people listening, please let us know if you can hear Moses. If not, let us know so we can sort it out.
I can hear clearly.
Okay, go on, Moses.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know why the NDC they're creating so much. No, I don't want to say the word anarchy, but issues around the election. Are they just trying to copy what Donald Trump was doing in America or something, in terms of trying to create commotion, keeping their fans steady-hearted, and for them to come and protest out in the streets? As you said before, I think in your previous video, people should be protesting about more poignant issues. If he thinks the election's been rigged, the courts are there for a reason. So he can go to the courts and fight that case. But for you to incite the people and let them come out to fight your cause when you know the processes as well, it just goes to show that your ego is also at play, if you know what I mean.
But again, they are exercising.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we know that they can go to court. We know that they can protest. But have you seen the state of that Ghana was left in by him, that people have to be trying to fix since? That you want them to go and protest for you again, when the roads that you left behind, some of them are still not done. Some of our gold production went down when you came into power. We was only producing 7 billion worth of gold in Ghana, the Gold Coast, the country that used to be called the Gold Coast. Now, this administration and other businessmen have pushed the country to make our gold production 30 billion, and we're the top gold producer in Africa. In Hong Kong has no gold. They make 50 billion from gold each year. So what was you doing with your say that you were so for, and that was spoiling our water bodies and spoiling our environment? And these guys have been able to come in, stop trying. They haven't really stopped say the whole way. I won't give them that total credit, but they've curbed it a little bit, and we're producing more gold than South Africa now in Africa. So what do you want us to go and protest for? What were you doing that was so great that you want to come back into power and give to us? That's what I want to know. And once again, I'm not against NDC or for MPP or for NDC. I'm for whoever's good. So if what you were doing was so fantastic, you're inciting people to go and fight for what? What are you inciting them to go and fight for? They should be fighting for their education, as you said before. They should be fighting for their roads. They should be fighting for good water. They should be fighting for jobs, etc. Did you provide all of that last time when you was there?
But then that's in not that I'm speaking for President Mahama, but you know, or the supporters of NDC, if they, according to them, they have their results and they have they have the evidence, and of course, if they feel as though the results have been rigged, then again they have the rights to protest. This has nothing to do with the fact that some people might feel as though Mahama didn't do anything.
No, but if they feel that the elections have been rigged and they have the right to protest, then, as I said, he can go to court. Right now, we're trying to keep Ghana peaceful. We're trying to keep the things that are already broken in there fixed, so we can move our country forward. We're not going to come and fight for one man and waste our days. Most of those people are hungry anyway. So some of them, give them a week, they're going to stop protesting for you, and some of them are going to be really violent. Like, I think it was in Odio, right? That those people got shot or something happened. Like, are we really going to get people getting shot for elections just because you feel that you've been cheated? If you feel you've been cheated, fair enough. But for you to incite people to go into the streets and create commotion, I didn't even hear him say peaceful protest when they said they should go and protest. And the court is there as well. So Are you going to the court? Are you not going to the court? You're telling people to protest, but are they going to do it peacefully? They've already been shootings because of this election. So are we going to create more issues in the country just because of the power that you want?
Okay, so that's that's interesting. Kofi Ali is asking for the phone number, and also Georgette. The number is just right on the screen. Please call that number, and you will get through. You will get through. But also Moses, I've been hearing people saying that they don't actually trust the courts.
Well, that's the institutions that we have. If we don't trust the Electoral Commission, if we don't trust the courts, that's another fight for you guys to fight. But right now, that's all we have.
Okay.
Because right now, when Akufo-Addo lost twice before to Atta Mills and then to Mahama, the margins in between it were even closer than this election. And what did Akufo-Addo do? Which one's the one that he went to court on?
2012.
2012. So he went to court on that, and then he lost, and he conceded to keep the peace in the country.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you can do the same. And didn't that
you can call us here. Your take on what's currently happening in Ghana. The number is 07311028158. Hi Georgette, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
What would you like to say?
I was hoping that you would have called me after the election so that I could have done a live program. What I'd like to say is this. In 2012, we all saw, and it's still on YouTube, the special election petition live for everybody around the world. What happened at the end of it was that the NPP lost. On the day that they had the verdict, I was with a couple of friends in Tottenham. We were watching it, and it was fascinating because even before the verdict was announced, the former President Mahama and his deputy, or his vice,
and Mr. Atta.
White. They were wearing white. And in Ghana, we wear white because we're celebrating.
Yeah.
So my question at the time was, did they know of the verdict before it was announced? Why were they wearing white? So for me, I've been on a campaign trail. I love campaigns. I've been on a campaign trail for close to 12 years. And each election, what I would do is go down there for at least 3 months out of my own busy schedule. And then I would go from Accra to Kumasi, Mampong, Achimtafo, Koforidua, on platforms, on radio stations. And it's quite exciting. Nobody could have told us, because I was in Ghana then in 2012, nobody could have told us that the NPP would lose at the time. But, yes, they went to court. And unfortunately, they were told that elections are won
at the polling station.
In the polling station, not in the courtroom. Here we have roll forward to 2016. Obviously, we weren't there, but the rumors that we heard were that there was some form of hacking into the EC's computer.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have the actual information, but that was the rumors that came out. So that in itself tells me that nobody declared that as illegal. They went ahead, they accepted the results.
Yeah.
Now roll forward 2020. Now look at what's happening in America. You know, it's beyond belief that the same or similar thing could happen in a small country like Ghana. What went wrong? Because I was up 3 whole days watching this, and it appeared that there had been some kind of counting and recounting, and then you'd hear that some minister had lost his seat, and then they recounted it, and he got the seat back. You know, these things have been going on for years, because after an election, they count it one by one. And if you make the mistake of going to say we or have a shower, you come back and they've changed the results.
Yeah.
So it's something that's been going on. It's an African election. Everybody tries to rig. And whoever is the cleverest tends to win. Now, if you say go to court, currently, as I understand it, there are 18 members of the Supreme Court, 18 Supreme Court judges. And out of that, 14 are appointed by the president, because that Constitution, 1992 Constitution, gives him so much power that he has the right to appoint all these people. So they owe allegiance to him, whether we like it or not. It's Africa. So if you go to court, say you go to court for, I don't know, 42 days or even
Georgia, I mean, this is your territory here. So are you saying that the judges in Ghana will put aside the,
no, I'm looking at Anas here.
Being professional, put away their professionalism?
I'm looking at the Anas report. The Anas report actually clearly stated that there were some judges who were happy to accept votes and sheep and yam to do whatever it is that the person who had come, be it the defendant or the claimant, whoever, they were quite happy, and it was on camera. So let's just be honest, it happens all the time. So as far as I'm concerned, if one person has the power to appoint 14 Supreme Court judges, what's going to happen is they go to court, and it's quite likely that these judges don't want to lose their positions, do they? They are quite likely to hand it on a silver platter to the incumbent. So they need to sit down and look at what's going to work for Ghana, because we've had problems in Ivory Coast, Burkina, and Togo. Ghana's got immune, and all you need is a little spark to ignite. There's so many weapons in the system. Yeah. But we pretend that we're friendly, we pretend that we're nice, and we don't like blood and all that. But we've had violent coups in Ghana. Okay? We've had 79, 81. So, people need a very little excuse to go out there. People have been parading naked. People are that angry that we need to look at it very, very carefully instead of sweeping it under the carpet and saying, oh, it's okay, let's wait until 2024. My main worry is, why didn't they allow Ghanaians living abroad to vote? We'd come this far, we're so close, then the EC comes and says, oh, let's meet. They met in America, they didn't come to the UK, then suddenly say, oh, because of Corona, we can't really register you guys abroad. Come to Ghana and register, come to Ghana and vote. Who does that? Who's going to go all the way to Ghana to register in this Corona era where, people have lost their jobs and all that, and then go back and vote? I mean, where on earth does that happen? In Ghana, they actually supervise elections for a lot of countries around the world who allow their citizens to vote in Ghana whilst the elections are going on, including the United States of America. So if we say that we're the beacon of democracy, what on earth is going on like a circus in Ghana right now? It's like a circus. And that EC chair, as we understand it, is directly related to the president's wife. That's a conflict of interest. She should be sacked immediately because the figures that she provided, those figures, as I understand it, are more than 100%, according to Kwesi Pratt. How did that happen?
Well,
of the figures.
But then if that's the case, that's what the Supreme Court is there for the NDC party to get the evidence and take it to the Supreme Court.
Well, like I said, we go to court. We've got 14 members appointed by the president. So what's going to happen?
All right.
It's a waste of time and exercise.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Georgette.
It's a waste of time. We may have to vote again. We start all over again. Okay. Make sure nobody's rigging, nobody's massaging any figures.
All right.
At the end of the day, we're in a modern era here, and people are angry. People are very, very angry.
Okay, Georgette, thank you very much for calling. Kofi, you can call. I couldn't pick your call because obviously Georgette was on the line. And you share the same sentiment as Georgette. Let me hear what you've got to say. Georgette is probably not the only person with such views. A lot of Ghanaians do hold that view, okay? That you can't trust our judiciary system. You can't trust the judges. But I'm asking, with such, case as elections, can somebody actually favor the person who appointed them? Hello. Kofi.
Hello. Yes.
How you doing, sir? You okay?
As usual, not bad.
Okay.
Bad. How are you too?
I'm very well, thank you. What would you got? What would you want to say?
Well, on this election issue, it's a bit challenging to us all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very, very challenging. And the way we're looking at it, probably we have to look at it a bit carefully.
Okay.
There is nothing like our Ghanaian democracy. Democracy is like mathematics. Democracy is simply democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain standards and rules that have to be followed. And democracy is based on transparency, honesty, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
not on deception. It's about contesting in an election, winning or losing. There will always be loser and a winner.
Yeah.
Now, in any democracy, you always have the police, the role the police will play.
Yeah.
The role the electoral commissioner that is supposed to be independent must play.
Yeah.
And then the court. And which court? That is where the big question is.
Yeah.
Good. The election has taken place in Ghana. When we are talking about demonstration for those who are not happy with the election, we are not talking about rioting, violent demonstration. No, it's not about rioting. You can express yourself that you are unsatisfied with what happened, which I think everyone will be on the side of NDC because there are so many reasons to do that. However, the place that all this thing is to end is the court of law. Now, which court? Remember, the EC, before this woman even commit the blunder she has committed, this woman, Jemensa, has already been pronounced guilty. Can you see?
Yeah.
It's the same thing the NPP did when the NDC was there.
With Charlotte say.
It's like, even before Charlotte, it's like a copycat.
Yeah.
The same thing. Before Charlotte was appointed, you understand, by the president when she went and then everything, they started saying that she is biased.
Yeah.
Throughout the election, the woman was guilty. Right. So the political parties have developed that trick. If you are going to play a football match and you have declared the referee as what? As biased. So the only way the referee's decision can be accepted is when it's in your favor. Why? Because the president has appointed that person.
Yeah.
Can you see? So we have a problem here. Now, one thing we are saying is that is it possible to have someone, assuming the court case goes on, because this problem we have, whether we like it or not, is in the courtroom. Because when it happened to the NPP, it was the courtroom that it was settled, isn't it?
Yes.
So the case will go, because it is only the court that can ask all the pink sheet. The problem is in the pink sheet. Everyone is supposed to have their copy of the pink sheet. That is, every political party have got their representatives there. And how is the pink sheet prepared? The name of everyone who is present there representing a political party, the issue officer, everybody will be there. They will all sign on the same paper. So your name, but then there are copies. There are like replica of the same copy. So they will give it to everyone. So everyone will have a copy. The figure put there, you are signing because you agree with the figure, isn't it? It's only the court that can say everyone, the presiding officer, the EC, everyone, NDC, MPP, bring your copy. So the copies will rhyme and the figure there must be the same because that is what leaves the ballot polling station. It goes to the coalition station and other things are built on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no problem with that. But it's only the court that can give that instruction, investigate, and people could even go to jail for doing the wrong thing. Let's moving from there. Which court are we talking about? Is it not the Supreme Court of Ghana? Good. The Supreme Court, to start with, the Electoral Commissioner is said to have been compromised. And I don't know anyone in Ghana who is not compromised. So we start with that. Then they go to the court, Supreme Court, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the Supreme Court the absolute court in Ghana?
Well, apart from, it is the highest court, isn't it?
When Chikata had a problem and he wasn't satisfied with the judgment in Ghana, what did he do?
Are you talking about ECOWAS?
The man took the case to ECOWAS court. So this is why the British left the European Union. Do you understand? By being members of the ECOWAS, the way we are going now, with the president of Ghana even being the chairman of ECOWAS sitting now. You understand? It's the problem that the highest court is no more the court of Ghana, is the ECOWAS court.
Okay.
Technically, you understand? So the NDC could go to the Ghanaian court because for you to do anything, first you need to exhaust the avenue for justice. That is why that court was created. Because if people are saying that almost 14 or 15 of the judges in the Ghanaian Supreme Court are chosen by the president, what do you expect?
But that's nothing new. That's always been there, Kofi. That's nothing new.
It's not new. If it's not new, then we are in a new era because we can't do the wrong thing. Because if the NDC goes to the Supreme, this is why they don't want to go in the first place. Because they are saying that if they go there, the judgment will not be in their favor. So they've already, discredited the court.
But then I also remember in 2012, some of the judges, some of them were appointed by Rawlings and also Kufuor as well.
Yes. Now, at that time, there were some of the judges the MPP said they are not happy with, so they should be replaced. And they were replaced. Do you remember?
I don't remember that part.
Yes. There were some replacements. There were allegations, and this one will do this one. But eventually, that was done. Now, fast forward. We are in a new time, isn't it? Mm-hmm. In the past, we don't have common passport. Now we have common passport. Now we are talking about common currency. So we have moved far from where we were before. So the NDC, you understand, now you are saying there are 40. Remember, in Mali, I'm taking your mind. Do you know that in Mali, the Constitutional Court, which is a version of our Supreme Court, the people didn't believe in that. That's why they had the coup.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's coming back to the same thing now.
Okay.
There are two things that can be done here. Remember, the EC, anyone appointed by the president of Ghana will be discredited by the opposition, even if it's Jesus Christ himself or Mohammed. So what we can do, assuming the case in court, because the NDC are also saying that they want the election to be rerun for the presidential.
All right.
The problem is not in the parliamentary.
It's presidential. Okay, Kofi, thank you very much. For time's sake, we have to leave it there because we're supposed to have an interview with a journalist from Ghana. Ani Ifwa Ampofo, a broadcast journalist from GNTV and also ATV. I was supposed to have her earlier on, but for some reason, we couldn't get her. So, Annie, you can come on. Okay, you can come on. I know that I think there were some issues. So if you can come on, that would be great. Yes, Annie Ifwa Ampofo is a journalist from Ghana for GNTV and also ATV in Ghana. She'll be joining us very, very soon. Well, as we wait for Annie to join us, you can also call in or send in your messages and I will read your messages out. There's been a lot to do with this particular issue of people protesting out and about protesting. Some people think it is right. They are expressing their democratic rights. Whilst others are saying, listen, you're out there protesting, but where is President Mahama? Where are they? Okay, let's see if we can get Annie on there. Annie, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going to do this via audio. So thank you very much for taking time out to join us this evening, Annie. We've seen, as you've probably heard, we've seen some demonstrations taking place across some parts of the country. Some people watching will be thinking, as a lot of people have been saying, look, if you want to dispute the election results, why don't you go to court? But is it the same feeling amongst Ghanaians in the country?
Well, I can tell you that the country is actually divided into two as to whether they should go to court or they shouldn't go to court, because as you can see, the results of the elections, according to the voting population, was sharply divided. So half of the population says go to court. The other half says you don't tell us what to do, because then what we're doing is also legitimate. And so we will go to court when we wish, but for now we want to be on the street. Because I think reading it from the side or the part of the NDC, they are attempting to get the information down to the ground before they actually take a decision whether or not they go to court. But alongside being on the street and demonstrating,
Annie, you there? Okay. So,
can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. Yes, carry on.
Okay. So I am saying that alongside being on the streets and demonstrating, they're still using their lawyers to, test the waters and see if they do really have enough grounds in going to court. The scary thing, though, is whether or not they really can control the crowd, that if it gets really big and thick, because the crowd seems to increase almost every day, and it's sporadic. It happens across the country in different regions, and they all seem to be thickening up. I mean, all these crowds seem to be thickening by the day, and so that is really what we are not able to tell, how the future really looks like with the crowd that keeps pouring onto the street. Because with their clash with the police today in the capital city, Accra, I think it didn't look comfortable for a lot of people who were watching from afar. And for those of us who are on the ground, it could degenerate into something else. So I'm just hoping that security have the intelligence on the ground, and they can control the crowd as much as they can until the people are satisfied with what they are asking for. And so for now, that's what it is. But with the coming in of the Sydney West constituency battle, which of course the NPP candidate took it to court, but unfortunately lost the case. And when the court directed that they go and recount, the NDC candidate has actually won the seat. And it seemed to have given the NDC a lot of grounds, or enough grounds, to make their case that most of the seats that are under contest, for example, the Techiman South constituency, they have cited a lot of irregularities that they know affected the votes of these candidates or their candidates. And so it gives them a lot of enough grounds, or it gives them enough grounds to make a case that they won those seats under contest. And so they have decided to take some of these issues to court, especially with the parliamentary seats, and make sure they claim some. So for now, they have the Senate West making 137 seats for the NDC in parliament. The NPP also has 137, same number. And there's a candidate, an independent candidate, who broke up or who broke away from the NPP. They're hoping that the NPP is actually hoping that he's going to join them, therefore give them more majority in parliament. However, the NDC, hoping that they're going to win some of these cases when they take it to court, might get the majority. So that's where we are at this point. But for now, whether or not they're actually going to proceed to court, nobody can tell, because they seem not to have, or they seem they're not ready to give us the strategy they have going forward.
What about the notion that the fact that President Mahama has not come out to speak to NDC supporters protesting in a way shows that he is condoning what is happening?
I mean, if I wouldn't say there's chaos for now. When it started, it was quite peaceful. This morning, or I say this afternoon, after the people left the street, there were a bit of stones scattered all over the place, with some flower pots destroyed, billboards destroyed, and some items. So I would say that for now, no state property has been destroyed. But if the people continue to be on the street, the anger is going to grow, and it's definitely going to affect us as a country. But for Mr. Mahama not speaking, you wouldn't have a choice but to say, well, you condone what's going on. And I get the sense, I haven't really spoken to the leadership of the party about that, but I get the sense that the party has actually been, some members of the party have been attacking former President Mahama for some time now. Having spoken with them, they tell us that former President Mahama is too peaceful and they've taken him for granted. So I seem to get the feeling that they are going to be on the street whether or not he likes it. For now, he hasn't spoken publicly until after he spoke after the Electoral Commission declared the winner. That was about the only one time he spoke. After that, he hasn't really spoken publicly, and he hasn't said anything since. I don't know why he hasn't said anything, but we can't do anything but to blame leadership. If you fail to speak and the people continue to be on the streets, definitely, I mean, the blame game will be put right at your doorstep. So that's what we are for now.
And before I let you go, what has been the response of the police? Because
the police has been quiet.
For people who wanted to go out to protest, you have to go and seek more or less, permission from the police or to notify the police.
Yeah. I mean, most of the protests happening across the country, you see that, like I said earlier, it's been dotted across. And it's a protest of angry people. And I think the police has done very well so far. And it is measuring the temperature of the people that are on the streets and has been very moderate in how it controls the crowd. So what we saw at the Electoral Commission's office this morning, for example, the people lit up, some flame. Now, when the smoke or the billows of smoke was going up, what the police did was to, throw in the water or the chemicals to quench the flame. And they actually, so far, there hasn't been reports of the police manhandling someone or abusing someone so far. Even though I get the sense they did not serve the police an official notice of going onto the street because of the way it's been handled, where it's just sporadic people across the country, demonstrations going on simultaneously, and it's with a group of people who seem to be angry. So they didn't find it necessary, I think, to send a notification to the police. However, the police has been following through, picking intelligence and making sure they give them protection anyway and stop them if they have to, if they are trying to trespass in maybe a particular area the police does not want them to go. They stop them at some point by placing barriers. So today, for example, there was a crazy traffic situation in the capital city. Moving within 200 meters could take you an hour or more. Just 200 meters could take you an hour just because of the blockades the police had put in certain areas, and therefore cars were diverting, to use certain parts, and everywhere got choked. So that's the situation that we have at hand. I don't know how tomorrow is going to look like, but they don't seem to be backing down anytime soon.
Okay, Annie, it's been great talking to you as always. Thank you very much for talking to us, Annie.
Thank you. We'll give you updates when you need it, though.
All right. Thank you. So, guys, that was Annie. Annie Efua Ampofo, broadcast journalist, GNTV and ATV in Ghana. You can also call in. I'd like to hear what you've got to say. I'd like to hear what you got to say about what's happening in Ghana right now. You heard from Annie there. Some people are actually within the NDC themselves not happy with President John Dramani Mahama simply because they see him as somebody who's peaceful. So whether he speaks up or does not speak up, they will still go ahead and demonstrate. So let's hear your take. You can call in. Let me just put the phone number up. You can call in, okay? Call in. Let me hear what you've got to say. Or leave your messages on there and I will read your messages, okay? If you leave your messages on there, I will read it because I think this where Ghana is heading to now is very crucial. And I think, one, it can only strengthen our democracy. Okay, the democracy in Ghana, it can only strengthen it. Simply because people can't take things into their own hands. If you feel as though, election time and you're not happy with the results, you can go to court. Now, earlier, I'm not sure if you heard, but Georgette was on, and Georgette spoke about the lack of trust amongst our judges. I mean, a few years ago, we saw the documentary of Anas, and for me, it just brought down the whole judicial system in Ghana. Anas actually just brought it to our screens, whatever perception a lot of people had anyway within the judicial system. Anas captured it, where judges were actually taking goats and other objects to favor somebody in the case that we're dealing with. Now, whether the trust of our judicial system has completely faded, nobody knows. But I think if that's the case, this will probably be the best time for the judges to actually make things right and restore some faith back in our judicial system. But then you can't just go to the court empty-handed. You need to gather your evidence. And I don't know, maybe you might be able to tell me, rather than protesting, because some people, there's a school of thought that the NDC want to, see the tension, not the tension, to see what people will make of the protest. And if it gains momentum, then finally they will take it to the courts. But then this is Ghana. One can only assume that whatever the views held by the public should not sway an outcome of a case in courts. Okay? Now, do I have faith in the judicial system? I'll put my head above the parapet and say yes. Because at the end of the day, this is the institutions that we have, and we can't keep knocking it down and say we don't have faith in it. This is what bugs me sometimes, guys. For me, looking at it from the outside, because this is politics, and politics, I don't think you get far if you're emotionally charged, simply because you will be disappointed. So, irregularities during elections didn't just start today. It's there. It's always been there, and it will always be there. These are politicians. Now, politicians know exactly what kind of games they play. Whatever it is they do to win an election, they know what they do between both parties, NPP and NDC, and so on and so forth. Now, my question is the level of irregularities big enough to change the outcome of the elections? That is my question. Because I remember in 2012 when the NPP took their petition to the Supreme Court, yes, one of the main cases was the overvoting, which there was a lot of pink sheets that had duplicate names on them. And also the EC at the time of Region, the number of people that voted when he went to the courts and he was questioned, they said, a lot of people voted from the diaspora. And then the numbers from the diaspora did not actually match what was given by the EC. But then I remember the court specifically saying, yes, in case of saying there was overvoting, yes, there were. However, that will not change the outcome of the election results. And that's it. And I'm sure there is timeline, okay, after the elections, if you want to take the case to court, if you want to dispute it and take it to court. I think they have 21 days. So the NDC, the supporters, or, the people at the top would definitely have an idea of what to do. Because frankly, you can't just keep quiet and allow your supporters to go out there and keep demonstrating. Because not only, I know for sure, of course, they're exercising their Democratic rights, however, is also an infringement on other people's rights. People have the rights to go to work. And this is where I think, I'm not against it, but this is where I think I disagree with them about this, particular protest. Because at the end of the day, this will, end up in courts. It will end up in courts. And whatever people do will not change the decision in courts. And the fact that people are targeting the NPP, again, I said this in 2012. NPP's issue was not with President John Dramani Mahama. It's with the EC. So you go to court, you're not going to court against the NPP, you're going to court against the EC. And, the institution of the EC is a very difficult job. It's not easy. Now, maybe post this election, maybe what we need to do is actually push for a referendum. The Constitution was written in 1992. We're now in 2020. Surely things needs to be amended. Surely. It's time for things to be amended in the 1992 Constitution. And for me, I would definitely push for, take some more powers, dissolve powers, take some more powers from the executive. Because here we are, we have a clear case. How can the executive, who supposedly, an opposition is fighting against the executive, and the case has to be dealt with by members of the judiciary who were appointed by the judges. Now, whether you feel as though, like me, I feel like they should be able to do their job and do it well without any favor towards anybody. But again, that will not kill the doubts in some people's heads. So maybe that will be one angle, one particular issue that we'll have to look at, the appointment of the EC. Because I think Kofi Ali that said it. We remember what happened even back in Afarijan. We remember what happened. We remember what happened with Charlotte Osei. And now Jean Mensa. It's the same political parties that keep casting doubts over this particular institution simply because election results did not go their way. I would not advocate for anybody to go out on the street to protest because it will easily get out of hand. Because at the end of the day, this will get settled in courts. And some people disagreed with me, some agreed with me. But if you've experienced the health system in Ghana, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Even in Ghana, this is Ghana, where if you go to the hospital, let's say, for instance, you go to give birth and for some reason you have some complications where you need a blood transfusion, you have to bring in a family member or a friend to come and give blood. Whatever blood is given to you, you have to go and replace it. Now, people will not go out and demonstrate, protest about that. People have died because they couldn't get blood. This is Ghana. This is Ghana. Personally, if we believe in the Constitution and we believe in the laws of the land, then let the law work. Let it work. Come out, speak to your followers. They've been protesting for a few days now. Come out, leaders of NDC, come out, speak to them. Speak to your followers. Let us know your next plan. If that's the case, if you have no faith in the judicial system, then what is the point? Ghana must well become a banana republic then. What is the point? What is the point? Democracy is not 100%. I'm yet to find any country where democracy is 100%, but we can't keep doing this. People cannot just die as a result of election. And the reason why people are dying, people are losing their lives, is the amount of money that goes into elections. Is there a cap as to how much a political party can put into an election. I can keep talking and talking and talking about this, but maybe it's about time. Hopefully this will be a wake-up call to really look at the 1992 Constitution. I mean, the guy who was at the helm when the 1992 Constitution was written has even passed on. Jerry John Rawlings. This is a new era. We had similar case in 2012, now 2020. It's bound to happen in 2024. It's bound to happen in 2028. So if we don't, Ghanaians, if we don't push for this to be amended, then this will keep happening and keep happening. And we take our democracy for granted. Ghanaians do. They do. I don't care who you are. Oh, they keep saying Ghanaians, they don't want to get out there and fight. But trust me, you keep saying that, and one day something might happen. Something might happen. Do not encourage people to go out there to protest. It will not resolve anything. Nothing will come out of it, simply because the leaders of NDC can take this case to court and it will be dealt with. It will be dealt with easily. Now, going to court is up to you to prove. The burden is on you to prove if what you're saying is right. Now, if you don't have enough evidence, then I suggest you call your people to order, okay, and regroup for 2024. I'm for justice. But that's not where to go for justice. Yes, people have been out demonstrating for a while now. It's about time they move on. They keep it moving. Keep it moving. Kofi Ali is saying there's nothing wrong with the 1992 Constitution. Kofi, I think some of the clause in there some people have issue with. One being the fact that if a president cannot be taken to court or cannot be punished until 3 years after they've left office. That needs to be looked at. The appointment of judges, that needs to be looked at. The appointment of the EC, that needs to be looked at. And that's the only way we can, not the only way, one of the ways in which trust can be built, because everything is built on trust. I've been fighting. I was on another platform saying, listen, we cannot assume just because you were appointed by the president doesn't mean you're not capable of doing your job and doing it well and putting the country first. But I think if you speak to the majority of Ghanaians, and I stand to be corrected, they will tell you otherwise. Simply because there's that culture. There is that culture of, you have to keep your allegiance to me because I gave you this opportunity to get into this position. That culture is there, and we have to be honest. We have to be honest. Moses is saying all the NDC ministers' kids should go and protest. Where are they? I don't think you're going to see any ministers' kids going out there to protest, Moses. And I've been hearing that many times on social media, especially people who are making videos out there. People are saying, listen, you should be going down there to protest. But, in this new age, you don't necessarily have to be on the ground to go and protest. There's so many ways in which you can make your voice be heard. Okay, Kofi Ali saying, did the Constitution say that the president must appoint their commissioners other than the chairman of the EC? Why then is this case? Did the Constitution say the president appoint the commissioners other than the chairman of the EC? Why then is this case? Kofi, I get your point. But it is the same politicians who cast doubts at this particular institution. It's the same politicians. It is. So you tend to realize that the job of the EC becomes very difficult. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. We can't have two winners. Yeah, we can have a hung you can have a hung parliament, we can go for a runoff, but even if you do have a runoff, somebody still has to lose. You can't have two presidents. We can't. We cannot. And I'm even against the saying of elections are won at the polling stations, because back in 2012, that's when we all found out. Elections are won at the polling stations. I think that every political party should desist from announcing that they've won the election before the Electoral Commission, the chairperson, comes out to declare who has won the elections. Prior to the election, I spoke to an NPP communicator here in the UK, and I asked him the same question, and he said, it's common practice. We all do it. When I spoke to a member of NDC, Anderson, he said, listen, if we win, we're going to go out on the streets and jubilate, and there's nothing they can do. Nobody deserves to die during an election. Nobody deserves to die. And hopefully once the dust has settled, we might have to look at the 1992 Constitution. We might have to look for it. We might have to look through it. Because we can't keep going down the same trajectory. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Jones. This is the Logic Box. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I would like to say a big thank you to you for watching, and also the ones that called in. And also a big thank you to Annie Efua Ampofo, who's a broadcast journalist for GNTV and ATV in Ghana. We'll do it again, same time, same place next week. And next week, we'll also look at what's happening across the continent of Africa, not just Ghana. Okay? Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you next week. Look after yourself. Coronavirus is still very much out there, so do look after yourself. I think we'll have one more show just before Christmas. And then, hopefully we can all relax. Thank you and stay safe. Look after yourself.